Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Dutton-Lainson Pipe-Mount Jack. It's going to be a pretty simple jack that can mount up to the side of your trailer, giving you a lot of lift if you need it. Let's check it out. This jack is going to offer you a 2,000 pound capacity, which for a smaller trailer like this is great. And with the great amount of travel you get here, I think this could also work pretty well because a lot of these teardrop campers are geared so towards overlanding, off-road use, and might have better clearance, or you might find yourself in situations where you're parked on uneven terrain and maybe need a bit more lift out of your jack. So something like this I think could work really well in this context. The jack is going to give you 15 inches of travel, and it's a pretty tall jack already. This is what it's going to look like, nearly fully extended. And from the ground to the center of where that jack mounts up, you're going to be looking at about 30 inches. So right now, fully extended, this is more than our trailer would likely ever need. But for your trailer at home, maybe you've got a lot more ground clearance and maybe you do need something with this much lift. It's just something to consider because something like this is going to be maybe a little less common, but if you need it, then great. This one's got the room to lift up over 15 inches. Now I've got this fully retracted and the trailer's on a jack stand so we can actually manipulate this a bit. One of the big advantages though of a jack of this style is to be able to pivot it out of the way. But one thing you'll probably run into on a smaller trailer like this is space clearance issues. So it's just something to keep in mind because while yes, this has a smaller weight capacity that makes it good for smaller campers, it's also pretty large. With it fully retracted like this, it's got an overall height of 27 inches, which when you're trying to think of how to swing it up and pivot it out of the way, you're gonna need that kind of space. So that is one of the advantages of a jack of this style, but if you don't have the room for it, then it doesn't work. Although it is just as easy to pull that pin and remove it entirely when it's not needed. This is gonna be a sidewind jack, which just means that you operate it from the side like this. And depending on how the jack is oriented on your trailer, this could be really helpful if you had something like a toolbox here that wasn't in your way, because with a top wind jack, you might find yourself maybe hitting that obstruction depending again on just where the jack sits. Overall though, I'd say the stability and the smoothness is pretty good. The handle here, it's just a basic plastic material, nothing super high quality, but it spins freely so I'm not constantly readjusting my grip. And again, it's smooth, which is nice because there's no complaints there. It just makes using it a little bit easier. With that smoothness, there is going to be a Zerk fitting on the back where you can apply grease to keep all those internal gears operating smoothly over time. It's going to be steel with a black powder coat finish. That powder coat will help it protect it against rust and corrosion over time. It's certainly not rust proof, but it'll help. And the nice thing about it that I like is that the finish just matches the trailer a bit better, so the whole thing blends in pretty well. The install for this is pretty straightforward. We'll walk you through the different ways you could install it right now. Mounting up the jack is really straightforward. You don't want to lift your trailer up and get the old one taken off if it's not already removed. And the new one just slides over either an existing mounting location on your trailer like we have today, but it does come with its own mount that you could weld on yourself. So if you were moving this somewhere or didn't have the location on your trailer already, let's say maybe you wanted to weld it to the side here, you could. But not everyone has the ability to weld. If you don't fall into either of those two categories, you can pick up this bolt-on mount from etrailer. This is something that we make that allows you to mount your pipe jack, but rather than having to weld it to the frame, it uses these two locations here to bolt to the frame. So you can put this wherever you see fit. It comes with hardware and allows you to bolt this up. So if you don't fall into any of those two categories and you need a way to mount this up, or you're trying to figure out if you can, this would be the way to go. In our case, it's as simple as just pushing this on and dropping the pin through. And then we can just lift this up off the jack stand and we're done. But that's really all there is to it. When it comes to these pipe mount jacks, most of them are going to be pretty similar And I think the thing it's going to come down to for you is weight capacity and size. This one, I think the big thing is that it's just too big. On this trailer, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but on yours at home, if you needed a larger lift, then this could be a good fit for you. But there's plenty of options available on our site. Be sure to check out the ones that work best for you. But that'll do it for our look at this version of this Dutton-Lainson Pipe-Mount Jack. Thanks for watching.